In the dim glow of a flickering street lamp on a rainy autumn evening in downtown Chicago, Emily Harper hurried down the cracked steps of the subway entrance, her scrubs still clinging to her skin from another grueling shift at Mercy General Hospital. The wind howled like a ghost through the alleyways, carrying the scent of wet leaves and distant exhaust. She clutched her bag tighter, her mind racing with the same weary thoughts that had plagued her for months. Why couldn't she escape this endless cycle of beeping monitors, sterile hallways, and patients whose eyes begged for more than she could give? Her colleagues chattered endlessly about luxury vacations and designer bags, but empathy? That was a foreign word in their break room. Emily dreamed of a job where kindness mattered, where she could heal hearts as well as bodies. But tonight, as the last train rumbled away without her, fate had other plans. Plans that would unravel her life like a thread pulled from a fraying sweater. She spotted him before she even reached the bottom step. A lean figure slumped against the graffiti-scarred wall of the underground passage, his threadbare coat hanging off his shoulders like a defeated flag. His hand trembled as he extended it toward the sparse crowd of late-night commuters, murmuring pleas for spare change. A homeless guy, Emily thought, her heart twisting with an ache she knew too well. Growing up in a cramped apartment on the South Side, with her mom, Valerie, juggling 2 jobs after Dad skipped out, Emily had learned early that poverty wasn't a choice. It was a thief that stole dreams. This man, though, there was something about his sharp jawline and haunted blue eyes that tugged at her, making her pause mid-stride. As she drew closer, the fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting harsh shadows that danced across his face. For a split second, her breath caught. Those eyes, that crooked smile hidden beneath the grime. It couldn't be. "Alex?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the distant train screech. He lifted his head, a flicker of recognition flashing before he dropped his gaze, mumbling something incoherent. Alex Thompson, the boy who'd stolen her heart in high school, the one whose gentle laugh had made her believe in forever. They dated for 2 years, stealing kisses under the L tracks, dreaming of a life beyond the city's grind. But Valerie had torn it all apart, sneering that Alex was beneath her, a dead-end dreamer with no prospects. He'd left in a storm of hurt, vanishing like smoke. And Emily? She'd buried her pain, hoping against hope that one day he'd return. "You're not mistaken," he rasped, his voice rough from disuse, turning away as if the weight of her stare burned. But Emily saw the lie in his slumped shoulders. On a whim, fueled by the raw edge of her exhaustion and a rebellious spark, she decided to play a dangerous game. What if she brought him home, told Valerie he was her fiancé, just to watch her mother's ironclad control crack? It was reckless, insane, but tonight, with the autumn chill seeping into her bones, it felt like the only way to reclaim a sliver of her own life. She bought a steaming coffee and a stale donut from a nearby vendor, pressing them into his cold hands. "Eat," she said softly. He devoured them like a man starved, and as crumbs fell, she probed gently. "Alex, or whoever you are, what happened? Why are you out here?" He hesitated, then spilled it in halting whispers. A name, Jake, he'd call himself now. A childhood shattered by an alcoholic dad who turned fists on mom and son alike until they both kicked him out. No ID, no job prospects, sleeping in abandoned lots or under bridges. Emily's pity swelled into something fiercer. "Come with me," she blurted. "I'll feed you, get you cleaned up. But one rule, I tell Mom you're my fiancé. Play along or she'll boot you. Help me out and I'll help you."
"Deal?" Jake's eyes widened, a wry chuckle escaping. "So you're dragging a bum home to spite her. Bold move, lady. But yeah, I could use a warm bed." Emily's world brightened in that dingy tunnel, colors sharpening as if the gray veil of her routine had lifted. She was a feeler, not a planner, love over luxury, always. Grabbing his sleeve, she led him up into the night, toward the modest brownstone in Wicker Park where Valerie waited, oblivious to the storm brewing at her door. Valerie Harper, a widow worn thin by decades of double shifts at the diner and night cleaning gigs, clutched her faded robe like armor when she flung open the door. At 58, her body was a roadmap of regrets. High blood pressure that had landed her in the ER twice. A silent heart attack she'd powered through on sheer spite. Doctors nagged about valve surgery, but who had the cash? All she wanted was Emily secure, married to a steady man with a 401k, not scraping by like she had after Emily's dad bolted, leaving her pregnant and penniless at 20. So when her daughter marched in with this ragtag stranger, unkempt hair, dirt-streaked jeans, Valerie's face twisted from shock to fury. "Mom, meet Jake, my fiancé. He's moving in." Emily's voice was steel, ignoring the venom in Valerie's glare. Jake shuffled forward, mumbling pleasantries, but Valerie exploded. "Have you lost your mind, girl? Dragging strays off the street? This is a home, not a shelter." She stormed to her room, slamming the door. But Emily pressed on. Dinner of mac and cheese and canned soup, a hot shower with her dad's old razor, fresh sheets on the pull-out couch. As Jake sank into the foam with a sigh, he caught her eye. "Thanks, Emily. You're an angel." She blushed, waving it off. But that night, sleep came easy for the first time in months. Days blurred into a fragile rhythm. Jake adapted like he'd always belonged, fixing the leaky faucet in the kitchen, tightening the wobbly banister on the stairs, even charming the neighbor's cat that scratched everyone else. Emily raced home from shifts, her steps lighter, conversations stretching late into the night over microwave popcorn and bad TV. He made her laugh, stories of street survival laced with dry wit. And she shared her dreams of pediatric nursing, where she could nurture instead of just bandage. Valerie seethed in silence, her barbs sharp. When's the wedding to Mr. Fix-It? But Emily tuned her out, lost in the warmth of Jake's quiet strength. Then, one stormy Tuesday, it ignited. Curled on the couch during a rom-com marathon, Emily winced, clutching her calf. Cramp, ow, from all the running today. Jake knelt, his hands warm and sure, massaging the knot away with gentle pressure. The pain ebbed, replaced by a current that hummed between them. His fingers trailed higher, tentative, until he leaned in, capturing her lips in a kiss that tasted of coffee and longing. "Jake, we're just pretending," she murmured, even as her body arched toward him. "Was it pretend for you?" he whispered, eyes dark with need. "Because I'm all in, Emily. You're everything." Resistance melted. They tumbled into each other, the world narrowing to gasps and tangled sheets. It wasn't pretend anymore. It was real, raw, and reckless. Bliss wrapped them like a blanket, Valerie's glowers mere background noise. Jake doted on Emily, leaving notes with hearts on her lunch bag. She traced his scars in the dark, vowing to build him up. But Valerie's resentment festered. A week in, with Emily at work, she cornered him in the kitchen. "Listen, Jake, or whatever. Emily's flighty. This is her rebel phase. She's got a real beau lined up, a doctor with a lake house. Pack up before she sees the light." Lies dripped like poison, but Valerie sold them with conviction, her desperation for Emily's better life blinding her. Jake's face crumpled, betrayal carving deeper than any street hunger. He didn't argue, just nodded, numb, and slipped out as rain lashed the windows, Emily's extra shift trapping her at the hospital with a kid's emergency burns. When Emily dragged home at dawn, the couch was bare, Jake's borrowed jacket gone. Panic clawed her throat. "Mom, what did you do?"
Valerie shrugged, feigning innocence. "He left on his own, sweetie. Good riddance. Now find someone who sticks." But Emily knew. The pieces fit too neatly. She flew to the subway, interrogating vendors and shadows, but Jake was a ghost. Hours later, soaked and shattered under a downpour that stripped the trees bare, doubt crept in. Had he used her? Played the part until it soured? Sobbing on a bench, fever spiking from the chill, she staggered home, collapsing into delirium where she whispered his name like a prayer. Weeks bled into a haze. Emily moved like a shadow at work, her curves fading, appetite vanished. Colleagues whispered, but Dr. Ethan Patel, the kind-eyed OBGYN, pulled her aside. "Motherhood's a gift, Emily, even unplanned. It'll light your world." Then the nausea hit like a freight train, confirming what tests whispered: pregnant, with Jake's child. Horror choked her. A runaway dab, a hostile mom, a job that barely paid rent. Valerie's reaction? A cold, "I told you so," followed by icy silence. Emily withdrew, belly her only solace, humming lullabies to the flutter within. Valerie, guilt gnawing like acid, replayed her meddling. Jake had been solid, no booze, handy as a contractor, eyes only for Emily. Too late now. Desperation peaked one gray afternoon. Emily, scales tipping toward despair, scheduled the unthinkable at the clinic. Strapped to the table, instruments gleaming, a bolt of clarity struck. This is Jake's piece of us, his legacy. I can't erase him. She bolted upright, tears streaming. "No, I'm keeping it."
Screw the rest. Bursting home, the smell of frying perch hit like a wave. She retched for an eternity. Valerie hovered, suspicion hardening. "Emily, you're not pregnant," Emily spat. "From Jake, the one you chased off. Happy now? Your grandkid's dadless because of you." She fled to her room, barricading the door. Valerie, clutching her chest, downed pills and wept for her mirrored mistakes. Another generation doomed to scrape by. The standoff lasted eternities. Emily a hermit, save for work, where Ethan's pep talks, "This baby will rewrite your stars," kept her afloat. Valerie plotted redemption in secret, digging through old contacts until she pinned Jake's trail. One crisp morning, as Emily puzzled over swapped charts at the hospital, portent hanging heavy, a sleek black Escalade purred up to their stoop. Valerie, peering through lace curtains, gaped. "Emily, honey, fancy ride. Wonder who?" The bell chimed. Valerie opened to a tailored man in his 50s, silver at the temples, exuding boardroom polish. "Mrs. Harper, I'm here for Emily." She ushered him in, heart pounding. Emily emerged, wary, then froze as he swept her into a bear hug. "Em, it's me, Jake. I'm back." Rage ignited. "Back? After ghosting me? Mom's lies. You swallowed them whole. No call, no fight. Where the hell were you?" Jake deflated, guiding her to the couch. "I believed her, thought you had someone else, hurt like hell. But I'm not who you think. My name's really Nathan Blackwood. Dad's Alexander, Blackwood Airlines, real estate empires. Mom died when I was 16. Dad remarried this viper who tried erasing her. I bolted, faked the streets to disappear. Then you saw me, not the heir." Emily reeled, standing abruptly. "Rich boy playing hobo? Great, but I'm not leaving. Mom's sick and I'm pregnant." Nathan paled. "Pregnant? With whose?" The slap echoed like thunder. "Yours, idiot! You think I'd cheat?"
"Get out with your jets and lies!" He stormed off. Valerie, witnessing the wreckage, drowned in remorse. 2 weeks of Emily's hollow eyes chipped at her resolve.
Finally, Valerie fibbed, consult in Milwaukee with a specialist, and drove to the Blackwood estate in Lake Forest, a sprawling mansion of glass and stone. Trembling at the gates, she poured it out to Alexander, the meddling, the heartbreak, the baby. He listened, tapping his desk. "Explains the ghosts haunting my son. I'll handle it." Dropped home in luxury, Valerie exhaled. That night, Alexander cornered Nathan. "Valerie came clean. Emily's loyal kid, no other guy. You doubted her love? Fix it. Trusts the real fortune." Nathan's epiphany crashed like waves. He raced back, only to find chaos. Emily hemorrhaging, rushed to mercy, preterm labor threatening the baby. At the hospital, Ethan clapped Nathan's shoulder. "She's fighting for you both. Donate blood, you're a match." Nathan complied, then knelt by her pale form. "Forgive me, Em. I love you more than empires. Our kid, stay with us." His hand on her swell coaxed a kick. Tears mingled as she stirred. Vigil stretched through dawn. Ethan's verdict, stable, rest now. Nathan commandeered a private suite, spoiling her with smoothies and foot rubs, Valerie pitching in with soups despite Emily's frost. Reconciliation bloomed slow. Nathan whisked them to the family compound, acres of woods and lake views, insisting Emily heal in peace. Valerie, bundled off to a Florida spa on Alexander's dime, returned glowing, baking pies for the impending arrival. Ultrasounds revealed a twist. Twins, a boy and girl. "Twins?" Emily gasped, joy bubbling. Nathan whooped, vowing double the love. Labor came fierce under Ethan's steady hand. 2 perfect bundles emerged, wailing into Emily's arms. "See?" Ethan grinned post-delivery. "Motherhood eclipses it all." Emily nodded, weeping.
You were right. Thank you. Baptism drew the neighborhood. Whispers turned to cheers for the rags-to-riches duo. Emily and Nathan's world, once fractured, mended with milky feeds and midnight coos. Valerie doted on her grandbabies, amends sealed in tiny fingers. Ahead stretched sunlit paths, family barbecues, Emily's new clinic gig, Nathan's grounded empire. Love, it turned out, wasn't a fairy tale. It was the grit to rewrite the ending. Thank you for listening to the story until the end. Don't forget to leave your opinion about this story, subscribe to the Unbelievable But True channel, and share this video with your friends and loved ones. This motivates us to continue working on new stories. Don't miss the next amazing story that is about to appear on your screen. We are very grateful to you for being with us. In the description below this video, you can open a catalog of all the stories. See you soon!